Back again, back again. Episode 45. It's your non-expert. This is non-expert opinion.
Yes, it is.
I am your non-expert Blak. That is your non-expert Cinco.
What it do?
Bro, how you feeling? Huh?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing? How you feeling?
Doing good, brother. I'm doing good. We are here to talk about the Star Wars movie,
Dun, dun, dun.
Mandolorian and Grogu. Very, very
Yes.
highly anticipated movie, if I may say. I actually was I was waiting for this movie, waiting because I'm a big fan of the show.
I was
A
about to
lot of
say, I don't
people
think me and you
hated
have ever
season
talked
2.
about the show ourselves, like together.
We have not.
I
That's
don't think we've ever
interesting. Not
discussed this
even
show.
on. That's interesting because I like the show. I like the show. A lot of people didn't like season 3. I being a Star Wars
I
fan,
liked it.
I think you know what's crazy about season. You know what's crazy about Star Wars? And before we really dig into it real quick, a lot of it I can admit do be like sometimes mid. But me being a big Star Wars fan, I just enjoy the fucking universe. Like I enjoy Star Wars. Like so I can't say that I'd be like, oh, like I don't like it. I really be enjoying shit.
You're kind of
I
segueing me
mean, I
into
really.
something that I wanted to talk about. I was watching one of my videos, Screen Crush, all that stuff, and they're talking about how there was the Mandoverse, and like I really didn't think about it because it's been so long that I kind of forgot certain things that happened, like Mandalorian and Grogu met Ahsoka and stuff like that. That they were building out an actual like Mando like verse inside the Star Wars verse, connecting all
He
these
did meet
characters.
Ahsoka. Wow, I forgot that
Yeah,
too. Yep.
and
It's been a little minute. Been a little minute.
so it made me think about what's been going on because I guess that would be considered the Mandoverse, is all this stuff that's like dealing with the Imperial, whatever they are. Uh,
Yeah, and Mandalorians and Huts and all the
so
people.
I thought about it and I was like, yeah, there's been a lot of like criticism of the shows that have come out and stuff like that. But like other than like the last two Star Wars movies, I don't really have anything else that I've seen that I don't care for realistically. The Acolyte ain't that good, but like there was things that made me think about stuff. And especially with it like exposing that the Jedi be on some ain't shit. Uh I thought was
That was
interesting
fire.
also.
That was fire. That
So
was a
like
good. We needed that. We
and,
needed that.
and I guess like some of them people saying that like it shakes the retcon or whatever like the lore or the foundation of Star Wars is it really bad that you shake the cage a little bit and shake the foundation and be like the Jedi's aren't as great as they are that they really are, or start exploring what the Force can be to other people that live in outer space and stuff like that? Because think about it, Star Wars is such a story that the universe is vast and it can go on forever. You can meet new
Right.
people all the time in Star Wars. So
But
who's to
that's why
say
this.
everybody
That's
looks at
why
it
it can
like the
never really
Force?
be peace. It
Yeah,
can never really be peace and it's so damn big.
so I think a show like The Acolyte did a good job of being interesting and introducing different concepts that don't have to adhere to our new characters, but are just nice to have out there as like something that other people believe in. Uh, I can't think of really any other show that really went on right now that I had a problem with or something like that. We talked about Skeleton Crew. That was pretty good.
Pretty good. Pretty good. I like that. I
So
like
The
that. Yep.
Mandalorian was good. One
Oh,
show that I didn't like was Boba
I
Fett.
just watched Maul.
I
Maul was
gotta watch
crazy.
that.
Did you
Yeah, I
watch
gotta
Maul?
watch that. I didn't watch that yet.
Oh my god. That
Side
shit is crazy.
side note, outside of Star Wars, did you know Spider Noir is out?
I did not know that was out already. Wow.
I
Everything's
think
coming out fast.
I think one episode is out. Not everything's out, but one episode is out. So I got to check that out. We'll talk about that. But I will say another
But
one
I
that I
started the
didn't
way I
like was
started
Boba Fett. Boba Fett was not that good. Boba Fett kind
Boba
of sucked.
Fett. Boba Fett.
I
Boba
thought
Fett was probably one. That's like the one I probably didn't.
I thought when they
But it
did
was okay.
the parts showing his background with the Sand People was cool. Fennec was cool.
That was okay. Yeah,
The
yeah.
chick was cool, but it didn't get interesting for me until Mandalorian and Grogu stepped their foot on the scene and it became the Mandalorian season 2.5.
Yeah. Basically, it was like the segue for season 3. Honestly, of
Yeah,
Star
so
Wars.
I was like
Most
Boba
of it is
Fett.
that.
Honestly, the Mandalorian kind of like the how cool he is and how much people like him. I feel like has now like made Boba Fett not as cool, especially with how Disney's portrayed him in his own TV show.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that. Boba Fett didn't really stick with the people as they thought he would, but that's sort of what we're getting with a lot of Star Wars and the new characters that they're introducing versus the Star Wars staple characters. You know, we get a lot of the clash where a lot of people are kind of rejecting the new characters and stuff like that. We get a lot of new characters in the movie. But speak of though, the Mandalorian Grogu, y'all gonna hear me mess up his name a lot on this. I'm gonna call him Little Yoda. Matter of fact, I'm gonna call him Little Yoda personally. Speaking of the Mandalorian Little Yoda, I can't decide if I would have enjoyed this movie more as episodes, maybe 6 to 7 to 8, or if this 2 hour movie was like, it was enjoyable. But also while I was watching it, I'm like, this could have definitely been a show. Like this could it reflected the layout of the show so much that I'm like, yeah, this could have been an episode. Every time they flew off into space and it opened with like some soft thing, like with him in the group, with him and Lord Yoda, like him talking to him or something like that. I'm like, yeah, this could have been like the the beginning of another episode or the end of an episode. Like but I enjoyed this, but I just like through the whole thing, I kept thinking like, I
No.
don't know if this was like season 5. Is this season 5?
Yeah, I was trying not to cut
I
you
mean, is it
off because I
season
feel
two?
the same way.
Mhm.
I watched that movie and I was very impressed with how much it felt like a season of The Mandalorian, but in a 2 hour span. That's
Yeah.
one thing that I gave them a lot of credit for. Because I'll be real with you, I don't think this. If I was going to compare it to the other seasons of The Mandalorian, it's the weakest season of The Mandalorian. If I was going to say that, like if I was going to
That's
do it
funny.
that way, if I was going to do it that way, it's the
Yo.
weakest season of The Mandalorian. But
That's hilarious.
but for a movie, I feel like they did a good job of balancing it feeling like the TV series itself, but still feeling like a
Yeah.
movie at the same time. So I'll
It
give
did
them
still
kudos
have
for
the
that.
feel of a movie, though. You're right. You're right. It did still have the feel. I don't know if maybe because it just the 2 hour how it ran, but just briefly again, like yeah, they definitely mastered like that show layout. They like, yeah, let's just snatch that and put it here. And
Yeah.
then if you think about the shows too, you're just like, wow, could these have been movies? Like it's like
Every
you think
10
about
to
it reverse,
15
like
minutes, you get into a space where you're like, oh, that could have been an episode right there. Like, that could have been an episode right there, just in the next group of the
yeah.
series. In the season, like in the group of the season, that could have been an episode. And when I got to the end, I was like, this was pretty much the adventure that they would go on in a season just in 2 hours.
This is the
Like,
final episode right
yeah,
here.
yeah, this is how it would go down in the season. So kudos to them for that.
Even the way it ended, them flying off, him letting him drive. I'm like, this is a TV show. Like this is a TV show.
I will say this: I don't feel like if this was meant to be a cliffhanger or a end to the story of Mandalorian and Grogu, it definitely didn't feel like it. I definitely don't
It
feel
feels
like
like
the
the
end of the
adventure
story.
continues somewhere else. Like it's just gonna continue. Like
Yeah, I don't know if they're bringing the show back based off of this, so I'm totally clueless on that. I think that would be hard, honestly, to bring back the show, because if they're gonna try to focus on him, I don't think that's really possible. Um,
we need a Grogu show where he really turns into little Yoda. That's what I want to see.
I do.
I want to see that.
So real quick, I don't think we can do the show still because also Bo-Katan, I think that actress is like pretty much done with that role, so she's probably got no interest in that either. So, because in my mind, I think how the Mandalorian would continue is not focusing on Din Djarin. It's giving you different episodes around different Mandalorians. So it really becomes about the Mandalorians. And it doesn't need to be
That's
like
pretty
new
actually pretty
Mandalorians
dope.
every episode. It could be like something like every maybe one episode you have one Mandalorian, then you get one that needs like 2 3 episodes, and you do something like that and mix it up. But you're just telling the story of different Mandalorians. So that's how I think that can continue, where it's interesting. But I think it loses its
Disney,
spark. It,
Disney about to steal your idea. Watch. Somebody watching this.
but I think it loses its spark without Bo-Katan at least being there as like the leader of the Mandalorians.
I mean, if they, I think she did a great job. She did during the show. Did a great job as Bo-Katan. But I think it depends on the writers and the acting. You know what I'm saying? If they could somehow script up a dope ass Mandalorian. You know what I mean? I can see it being like, the focus shifting a little bit.
I think
And plus, like
technically
you
they could
said,
pull
we
it
gotta
off.
have like, yeah. I mean, they. I feel like the thing with Star Wars, I personally feel like the writing is good, even though the last movie. I enjoyed the last movie, but could have been a little better. But I still overall, I feel like the writing for Star Wars is good, especially after watching Maul. I'm like, yo, who wrote this? Like, who wrote this? And they need to be writing the whole Star Wars thing like that. Like, so I feel like they gotta like I don't know the whole team. I don't know any of the team, but people over there they sometimes get it. They get it good.
I think there's intrigue to what Star Wars puts out typically. It's just people are hypercritical these days. I feel like being average is like frowned upon. So like you don't want to be average because people are gonna like either say you're shitty or not give you your credit
Yeah,
because you're just average.
not with Star Wars. I think Star Wars is so big. Yeah, you're right. Like they like if anything like that's not great,
It's
they
kind of the
shitting
same
on it.
thing
But
that
it
the
don't be
MCU deals with. Like if their movie's not knocking it
right.
out the
Yeah,
park, then it's
yeah.
an ass movie to people.
I'm not even gonna lie. I was trying not to bring them up. Like I was trying not to like verbally say Marvel on this episode because I ain't want to like overshadow them like Star Wars. But you said it though, so yes.
Hey,
It's
that's
sort
all
of
I gotta
like
say
the
about him. That's all I gotta say. It's the
you
same
know.
thing.
But yo, you know what? I started this episode not asking you what you thought about it. What's your opinion on it? What's your opinion on the movie, man?
To feed off of what I said, I thought they did a good job with the story. I say it's the least good season of The Mandalorian, if I had to put it that way, because like there's nothing like yeah, they saved that Rod of the Hut and all that, and like get rid of the twins. But realistically, like, what's like the big whoop of the story? Like, I
That
feel
nigga
like
was jacked up.
you got to think about the Mandalorian seasons, man. They fight Moff Gideon for the dark saber and stuff like that. They're meeting Luke
That was fire.
Skywalker. They're meeting
That
Ahsoka.
was fire. That was fire.
Compared to that kind of stuff, this movie wasn't really doing much. The snake thing in the
He
water
fought
was
a lot
cool
of
looking.
monsters in this movie. He fought all monsters in this movie, actually, except for the beginning scene where he actually killed the dude from the Empire. But other than that, it was all like just fighting monsters and stuff.
So I think there is a reason to that because I think this movie's more about the development of Grogu than it is anything about Din Djarin. So I think that's why you start the movie and he's kicking ass right away, like doing all the cool stuff. He's basically on a James Bond mission in the first like 10 minutes. Like,
Yeah, that nigga slide down the mountain and stuff, riding the shit. Yeah, that shit was dope. That shit was dope. I
yeah,
like
the
that from
first
his
like
scene. His
like
fight.
little scene where he's doing his little thing, being a badass. Like, that was cool. That was cool. And then you get into Grogu. But I think what's important in the movie is showing how Grogu matures and like kind of doesn't need the oversight of Din Djarin toward the middle to end of this movie when whatever happens and he has to kind of fend for himself for a little bit until Din's back on his
Right.
feet. So I think it's more about that stuff than anything
Like so
else.
you basically like so we could I can see that because as I was watching the movie and as soon as he got kidnapped, I was like in my head, the first thought in my head, I was like, okay, this is where Grogu shines. You know what I'm saying? This is where little Yoda comes in, and this is his part of the movie where we're about to see him do some shit. You know what I'm trying to say? So, and it took a little bit. You know what I'm trying to say? He was running around the little, those little things.
I like that they brought them back.
They're voiced by the lady who in Harry Potter who voices the ghost in the bathroom.
Oh, really?
The
Screaming Annie or whatever it is, whining, crying, whatever.
Yep, they're voiced by her. Yeah, that's
Oh,
funny. Yeah, I
interesting,
see that. I was like,
interesting.
what the hell? Yeah.
That's cool to know.
But yeah, so he runs around with them. One of them being kidnapped was pretty cool. But my thought about that whole scene was I never thought as it was going by. I was like, wow, this is all happening pretty fast. Like the little
No, the
guy got
pacing at
kidnapped.
one point started feeling like a little fast, where like, oh shit, things are just happening.
Yeah, I was like, I'm like, so he doesn't like the way when he found the Mandalorian, I was like, Dad, he didn't really face no adversities there. Like he just kind of trucked the
Nah,
forest, went through the tunnel. and just set the bomb. It was like,
Well,
yeah. I'm like, this nigga
so
was
I actually went
crazy. I
to
was
see
like,
this,
wow.
and when that stuff was happening, I was like, "What the fuck? This is kind of like just easy peasy lemon squeezy." But I'm like,
Yeah,
but I get it though. But I get it because like
it's tiny.
for Grogu's maturation in this movie, you don't really need crazy things to be happening to Grogu. Like you can have like this fun like little wonky things happen like or just taking a walk and stuff like that. Being by himself is enough, you know.
And that's
Because
like the adventure. Like that's the big adventure right there.
yeah, because that's what because you know when you normally get something out of the season for one of the characters, some kind of development. I feel like that's what this was. Like at that point, you start seeing the maturation in Grogu. At the beginning of the movie, remember
Well,
he
yeah, it's like you said. Yeah,
at
yeah.
one point
It's
he
like he had his
trusted him.
independence.
Yeah, at one point he trusted him to hit the button and he failed. Remember that he didn't hit the button. He didn't know what to hit.
Right, right, right.
Then we go
Yep,
through all
yep.
this in the middle where he had to fend for himself and do things on his own and make sure he was taking care of Din. And then at the end, what happens? Tells him to hit the button. He hits that
Yeah,
damn button.
yeah, yep, yep, yep. Yeah. True.
we
Nah, yeah, yeah. That's true. That's
we
true. That's true.
we set the road for Grogu to eventually be able to go on his own and take care of himself. So that's what this movie was about for me.
Yeah, man. We're about to get a little Yoda series. I'm telling you, you're about to get the
I
lightsaber
I figured
and
from the
something.
very beginning as that they were lining him up to be important somewhere down the line.
They got to put him in They got to put him in a movie with Ren.
Well, think about where he takes place in the timeline because he's between Ren and Luke Skywalker beating Darth Vader because he meets Luke Skywalker and he doesn't look much older than when he was beating Darth Vader.
So by the time Ren comes along, he's going to be a little older
He's
and a little
probably
more
older.
skilled.
Yeah, he's probably somewhat old. And you know, he ages differently, but like he's still older. He's probably not just little
We
old
gonna get
Grogu
getting the
anymore at this
baby Yoda.
point.
I'm hyped now. We gonna get the little
He ain't
baby
gonna be
Yoda
Baby
soon.
Yoda no more. I'll
Just
tell you
in
that much.
Kanye.
I just hope
Oh
he's
yeah, well he
very.
gonna yeah.
I just hope he's not similar to what Yoda is. I hope he's his own
Like that
thing.
speech shit, right?
Yeah, I hope he's not speaking in riddles. I hope he's just
Just talk like him all of a sudden. Like nigga, who taught you that?
like give him a voice, but like don't give him a Yoda voice. Like let him be his own
Yeah,
character. Not a Jar Jar Binks
yeah. I
though.
don't
We
want it to
don't
be
need that.
Dorothy voice.
We don't need Jar Jar Binks either. So
Jar Jar Banks growing up was my guy. I ain't going for it. That was my guy. I liked him.
I
He was
will.
part of the reason why I like Star Wars, like why I started to like Star Wars.
I hate that first movie with the pod racing and shit. I hate that movie until you get to the end where they're like fighting Darth Maul and shit like that. But I
Yo,
hate that
fire.
movie,
Yeah, I
bro.
mean, no, there's a lot of. I mean, as a kid, I enjoyed it. I ain't gonna say it now. As a kid, I enjoyed that
Yeah,
shit.
I don't really enjoy the beginning part. It's just like, well, whatever. This don't feel like Star Wars, but whatever. Gotcha. But I will end what I was saying about the movie itself with I'm not gonna rate this movie that high, but I did enjoy
Me
it,
neither.
and I do think it was good for what I'm like, almost better than what I'm rating it. But it's like, nah, it's not really better than what I'm rating it. So
That's interesting you said that because I had the same thought. I said, "Wow, I think my rating is like, if I'm being honest, is low. Like, for like a blockbuster movie, but I'm like,
I heard it's flopping
I
right
think
now.
I like it a little bit. I like it a little more than this, but I think this is what it deserves. Like honestly, like so. I mean, all right, but my opinion on it, yeah, man. I like I started earlier. I thought I couldn't decide whether it could be a good show or a good movie. I could say a great show or a good movie. It's funny you said that is the weakest out of the seasons. I find that funny. I think it's better than the Boba Fett season. If we gonna
Well,
break it down, but
well, yeah.
I think it's better than season
If you
two
want
point
to
five.
include Boba Fett as
You
2.5, then yeah, it's
yeah,
better than Boba
I
Fett.
think it's better than
Yeah, it
two point
definitely
five.
is.
And what I
I
mean,
definitely
like
agree with you there.
but the beginning of it, I said like the first couple minutes where we got those scenes where he's riding the stormtroopers and he's fighting the stormtroopers and those big. I don't know the names of those big
The
machines with the legs, but
AT-ATs
that
or
shit was
whatever it
fire.
is. I think they're
Yeah, yeah,
AT-ATs.
okay, yeah, yep. That shit was dope because I always enjoy seeing them. And just the action, him shooting everybody, putting them on fire, and like I
Yo,
feel like
when
it
he
was that
boosted
classic
out of the
Mandalorian, like no
AT-AT, he
look
was so
shots.
clean. My man was so clean when he
Yeah, he was
busted
just
out
like
the AT.
not looking. He was just like it was just crazy. Yeah, like all that stuff was dope. But then it just, it slowed down a little bit, which is normal for a Star Wars movie. But
Grogu
I
was
think
looking at
this.
him like, "Yo, bro, we ain't got no time to get out of here. We gotta get
Oh,
out of
that
here."
first, yeah, he was like, yeah, with the bombs and shit. That shit was crazy.
He's like, "Are we gonna leave?" He's like, "I got this, little dude."
Yeah, I think he could have. I think. What it was, the CGI, the action, the action, and everything was good, right? But the story did not keep me. I was entertained because it's Star Wars, as I said earlier. But if I must admit, the story was just like,
The end
it
goal
felt
is
like
just not as epic as everything else they were doing.
it felt like almost like a video game. Like, how you beat one boss and then you just go on, like it just continues right there, and then you beat the
Okay,
next boss, and then it
okay,
continues right there, then you beat the next boss. Like that's how it felt. It felt like that.
I could take that. I could
Like,
take
you know what I
that.
mean? So I'm like, okay, and again, I'm a fan of the show, and I thought the pace of the show was always like, sometimes slow, but for a show, you can understand that. Okay, we have an episode where we just need to hear things, we just need to explain. But for a movie, it's like, okay, if you're gonna give me a whole like 20 minutes of just all explaining and then 5 minutes of the action, it's like
But like, think about it. It's because what all these steps were ultimately going toward was just completing a job for what the New Republic. Like that's all the end goal was completing a job for the New
yeah,
Republic.
it was, man, yeah. What was the point? What was the point?
That's kind of why I'm giving it such a low score is because like it's almost like a filler story.
But I like the movie.
Well, think about it. When we talk about anime and we talk about fillers, we're like it's normally pretty good for character development, and that's kind of what we're saying that Grogu's thing was in this movie was character development. So
Let's talk about Lord Yoda real quick. I'm sort of confused about his powers, right? His power scale, because we saw him lift and flip a rhino in the show, and then we seen him get captured in this movie. I was about to call it show in
in a
this
low
movie,
cage.
but he could not open, but he could not open the cage. But then at the end of it, he put that doggy to sleep for like 2 seconds. I'm like, what is his power scale?
No, he relaxed the dog. The dog just started chilling with him, right? Like he was just like patting the dog and
Oh,
shit.
I thought he put him to sleep.
Yeah, because
I
remember his
don't
owner
know
called
what
him and
he
he got
did.
right up, but he
I
just
don't
did
know
the
what. I
he
just
did the whole
know
force
he's
thing.
confusing me with his power.
You
And
want to
then at
open
one
the
point, after
door.
he couldn't break himself out, after he couldn't break himself out the cage, he pushed the Mandalorian into that little hut. Remember, he kept pushing him. Like he seemed very much in control of his powers then. So I'm like, where's he at with this shit?
I think he's just very immature with his powers. That's all. Like, he's not. Because think about it, he's trained with people like Luke and and he's been around Ahsoka, but like he's still like untrained. Just because he's been around those people for like a week or so, maybe a couple months, like he's not like a veteran Force user out of nowhere.
Yeah, and I guess you're right. The Mandalorian don't know how to teach him. You can't teach him, so it's
Yeah,
okay.
so when he's not with people like that, he's just out there like free balling it, trying to figure it out on his own. So
Nigga out there eating fucking bugs and shit, wilding
he
out and
snatched
cookies.
that. It made me think about Yoda, and then somebody reminded me that Yoda was eating like crazy stuff in the first movie when Luke first meets him. He was just eating stuff off the walls and
Yeah,
stuff. Because I was like, so Yoda
wild
living
for
this
the year.
grand life at the Jedi Tower and stuff like that. He doesn't eat
Eat
Does he
roaches
eat
off the
regular meal?
fucking wall.
Yeah, like does he eat a regular meal? And he'd be like, "Damn man, I wish that was a bug." Like on Timon and Pumbaa
Right,
type shit.
right. And bug, I wish this was like, come on, bitch. Like you're doing too much.
But yeah, so like that's why I can't complain though. This movie was like super solid in what it did do. I did want to ask, how do you think this would translate to somebody who didn't watch any of the Mandalorian and Grogu though, if they just went and saw this movie?
I think it would just look like the almost like the video game like I seen. So it would just look like, you pick like a bounty hunter, and he has his alien, and they are just going through the universe killing other aliens for a bounty. Like, and I feel like it'd just be like one like an adventure, like a space adventure. Like if it wasn't Star Wars, it'd just be like space adventure. or something like that. You know what I mean? I feel like, but I also do feel like say like now, if this was my first time seeing this, and like you said, don't know Grogu, don't know Star Wars, but don't know none of this shit. I think they'd enjoy the action. I think they enjoyed them killing the going through space and killing the. I think they really enjoyed the part too where the other bounty guy who looked like fucking I couldn't get his name, the last in the Mortal Kombat, but he was reminding me with the hat.
Kung
With
Lao.
the hat.
Oh,
The
Kung
nigga looked
Lao,
like Kung
yeah,
Lao.
yeah.
Like,
No,
I was so
yo,
as soon as he came on the
why was
scene, I
he
said,
anime
Kung Lao.
posing? You peep, he was anime
I think they'll
posing.
enjoy him. Yeah.
He's all
He was just
standing off to
yeah,
the
yep.
side, like, like
Yeah.
what is this dude?
He was looking cool. So I think they'll enjoy that part of the story, like when he comes in, he has a little adversary, like with a person who's not an alien, like I guess he is an alien, but he's not a
Does
monster.
he
You know
die?
what I mean,
I
type shit.
forget if
So
he dies or does he just leave?
I think he when they fall into the rocks with the where the huts die,
He just
he
leaves.
escaped to the side. He escaped to the side, yeah. So I think the action and even the pace of the movie, they might enjoy. And what they'll enjoy the pace with the action and stuff like that. Probably not the slow parts, but yeah, it just look like that. It just look like a space movie. A guy going on a space movie. They won't even, and you know what? They wouldn't know anything about these characters. There's no information about them.
You
Like there's
know,
like if you did not watch the show, you would not know anything. That you wouldn't know this is the Mandalorian or Little Yoda.
the Huts, the twins dying the way they died was like so predictable that I was like not expecting it because I was like that's way too predictable. And then they did that,
They
and
still
I was
caught you off guard.
yo, and they did that. I was like, are you fucking serious? Like, boo,
Ah,
lazy. How 1970s of you.
I know, because they didn't even leave their chamber to die. Like they was in their chamber the whole movie and died in their chamber. Like that's definitely 1970s type of shit.
Some like this goofy ass ending for the villain, like some weird ass James Bond ending or some shit. Like ironic, isn't it? The irony.
Yeah. Yeah, nah, the big snake under them and it not killing Mandalorian, of course. Yeah, that was very predictable
Well,
that it would
Mando was kind
kill
of
the.
kicking. Mando was kicking his ass though. Like, but the Huts wasn't about to do shit. That's an easy lick for him, bro. Like, that's why he was
They
happy.
was doing shit.
They could
Yeah, nah,
barely
they was.
move.
Yeah. Amanda was doing this thing in that water. I ain't gonna front. That was like he was doing his thing. You know
Rada
what I mean?
was
Against the
cool,
Sith.
but Super Z's, bro. Super Z's. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like this, literally felt like a Timu Hulk from Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I
they
can see that. Yep.
Timu Thor Hulk from Thor Ragnarok, bro. Just
Definitely
wasn't doing it for
Timu
me.
strong man from somewhere. Yep.
He's apparently somebody that they save in one of the animated series. So he is from like prior episodes somewhere, like Clone Wars or some shit like that.
Oh, so is Bounty Hunter Kung Lao. He's in the cartoon. They show him in the cartoon somewhere.
Okay, cool. Oh, yeah, I feel like I did see that dog before.
Yeah, they show him
I feel like
somewhere.
I've seen that before, and that was pretty cool. But let me think, what else really goes on in this movie? Because it's not a super eventful movie outside of some cool action scenes and like some Star Wars stuff involving the Huts and
Yeah. I didn't expect the movie to be based on the Huts, like based around the Huts. I didn't expect that, but I mean that was I
Yeah, me
guess
neither. I
part of
didn't walk into that thinking
that's
that
just
could be
part of the
possible, but
universe, I guess. And you know what? And that's the thing about Star Wars. And you said that earlier. Like it's so massive, the universe is so big that these stories, even this movie, like this story was
this is
just
a
one little
spec.
dot. Like yeah, like it's just like yo, it just happened somewhere. Like nobody cares about this shit.
Nope, not
These
a
niggas
soul.
died.
Only the people who are involved give a fuck about this, bro. Luke
Like yeah,
Skywalker's off like, huh? The rest of the Huts are dead? When that happened?
like when there was more.
Wait, the little Yoda that I met did that shit? What?
Like, he like Jabba had a son. Like what? But the universe universe was? What quadrant was he born in? Where did he live?
Yo, like, think about it. These motherfuckers be traveling light years and shit like that, bro. Like,
Come
think
on,
about
bro.
what they said in Ahsoka, bro. Like, they were basically like, yo, you went so far and your ship just broke down. Like, niggas would never find you.
Right, like, yo, that's crazy, dog. Like that's wild.
You just
How
shit
is
out of
this
luck.
universe infinite? Like this universe is infinite. Like this shit is crazy. Wow, bro. Like, but you think about it. That's why the Empire keeps coming back, and that's
Well,
why
different forms,
Jedi keep
yes.
coming back because they never fully go away.
There
They
will
can't
always
fully
be
go.
some good. There will always be some bad. That's just the balance of
Bro,
Star Wars.
these
But
niggas that killed Darth Vader in Quadrant 4. In Quadrant 1, they still think he alive and reigning and
Thrawn's
rolling,
like,
bro.
what?
Like,
What
it's
happened over
bugging
here?
over there.
But
Like, they
so
don't get the news. They don't get the news till about 400 years later.
when somebody just
Bro,
happens to
this
fly by and they be like, for Lord Vader, and they're like, for Lord, whoop, nigga, he been dead. Nigga been dead for like
like,
5 years. It took me that
one
long to
person
get
let the
here.
whole quadrant know.
It
Like,
took,
that's crazy, bro.
but to go back to what I was saying, I do agree with you. Also, I do feel like they did a good job where like you don't need to see the rest, and I think that kind of just feeds into why I feel like it feels like filler, like because the stuff that happened around them isn't necessarily relevant to you getting what's going on in the story. But the one thing I will say is you don't get the emotional investment that you would if you saw the series when Mando gets bit by the snake thing and the poison eventually sets in. Like that
Right.
whole like
Yeah.
being attached to them as characters, you
Yeah.
don't get
That
that
that was
same
yeah.
feeling. I would assume if you're just
Yeah, I
watching a
agree.
2 hour
I
movie,
agree. Yep. Yeah.
like I'm really sitting there
Because
like,
that
damn,
was
Grogu's really got to
emotionally
hold it down. Like
right. I was just about to say that because
he might
emotionally
lose
that
then.
was cool to
Like
see. Yeah, yeah. And it was important to see that because right before that, the nigga said, when you grow old and that little nigga still, still kicking, that's when we gonna get him. So basically telling him like you don't have forever with this nigga. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like you're
I
gonna go old and he's gonna continue life.
I think most people went into this movie assuming that something was going to happen to Din Djarin, or they would go their separate ways at the end of this movie. I think a lot of people thought this would be more of a close to the actual story of Din Djarin and Grogu, but hey, here we are.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you, in your opinion, would it have been a better movie if Din Djarin would have separated from Little Yoda, or if he had died?
I think if Grogu went on his own, no matter how it would have went, I think that would have gave it some more emotional weight. That probably would have boosted it up a little bit, for sure. Um, just because it would have felt, because like, see how I said there was like no importance to what happened.
Right.
That would have been something that was like monumental to happen in the movie. That would have like made it super memorable. Like, think about it.
Right.
In 10, 15 years, if somebody brings up the Mandalorian and Grogu to you, you're probably going to have a hard time remembering what the fuck happened in that movie.
You go back season 5, season 4.
You're going to be like,
That
all
was
I
a long
remember
ass
is
show.
Rod
I
of the
don't
Hut,
remember.
but what happened around Rod of the Hut?
I don't know, man. We gotta watch it again.
Like, think about it. Actually, what is memorable about this movie? If there is something.
Well, again, I think it's just how you said. If you know the shows now, the part you just said, him being bit by the snake and Grogu taking care of him. But if you don't know the show,
You're like, oh, but like you're not like, oh my god,
it's not.
no
Yeah, right.
way.
You're not really remembering it. But like you're right. If now Grogu goes off by himself, that's something even a person who's just watching it, they'll be like, oh no, yeah, that a couple years after that, the movie passed, they'd be like, oh no, I remember that movie. The little green dude went off by himself and shit like that. Like, you know what I mean? At the end. Like that'd be something they'll be able to say and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But
I don't know
yeah,
how
this don't
Grogu
really
gets
have
back, or if he just goes on his own and just travels or somehow, some way. Oh, I mean, no, they came
right.
for him. They came for Mando, so they would have got Grogu if he died. So he would have found his way back to the New Republic and Zeb and all that stuff. So remember,
Oh
they
yeah,
came
they
back
did. Yeah, they
because
did.
the little
Yeah, at the
dudes
end. Yeah,
flew
at the end. Yeah,
off and they brought him back. Remember, the little dudes like, "We coming back
yeah,
for
yeah,
you.
yeah.
We
At the
told
end,
you we
yeah.
coming back."
He did say that. Yeah, that was funny, yo. He did say
I thought
he
that was
did
one of the
say
cooler
that.
things about the movie,
Yeah,
though, is that they made them
that was
important in like
yeah.
in a little way, that they made them a vital part of this movie instead of just being like something that just crosses paths and be like, oh, that's cool to see them. Like they were actually
Yeah,
a part of the movie.
they were a thing. Yeah, nah, that was cool. But that part right there was pretty humorous. That was
That's
funny.
another thing.
He said,
You don't get the understanding of that either, like unless you saw the Mandalorian and Grogu. They're like, this who are these guys?
right, yeah.
Like,
Especially like what part they wouldn't get? When Baby Yoda
horrible baby,
when
bad
Grogu
baby.
yeah, yeah. Like when he first sees them off the ship and why he grows and why Mandalorian got to tell him to chill. Like they wouldn't get that. They wouldn't understand.
Yeah, yeah, you
So
just
yeah,
wouldn't
there's a
understand.
couple parts like as Star Wars fan and as avid watchers and shit like that that we do remember, but admittedly, there's nothing memorable. Like there's so
Yeah, like
yeah.
just to go back to comparing it to the seasons again, when the dark saber got pulled, whew. When you see Moff
There's no moments like
Gideon,
that.
like even something small, like seeing that Moff Gideon was Giancarlo Esposito, you're like, oh shit, cool.
Bro,
When Luke Skywalker
even
appears
seeing
on the scene,
yeah, that was fine. That was fine.
like,
But I'm telling you, the moment where the little where he first uses his power, he picks up the rhino. It was still nothing like as like monumental as that.
when they're in the water of redemption and he sees the beast, the
Oh
fuck,
wait,
bro?
you talk about the show, right?
Yeah, when the beast is just
Yeah,
down there in
yeah,
the
yeah,
water,
yeah,
the
yeah.
fucking serpent thing, like what
That shit
the
was crazy.
fuck?
Yeah, yeah. Why didn't it have like the snake was cool in the movie, right? The snake was cool. I like the snake. Snake was dope. But in comparison to that, like what's going on, bro? What's
Shit
going
was
on? Like, you know what I
gigantic.
mean? Like
Even
this is a movie. This is a movie. We here for
yeah,
But they gave us what they gave us. Anything else I want to say about this? Anything else you want to say about this?
yeah, because we kind of spoke about it in a way without having to touch on like actually events in the movie. Like because I
I
don't
know
really
we
think there's
did.
really events that need to be spoken about, honestly.
But that's the thing about the movie. Like I think we keep saying it. Like we keep going through it like that. Like
I will say this: shout out to the fisherman dude, like the realest motherfucker who's ever only been in the movie for like 5 minutes.
I,
Like I'm like it's almost like he didn't even need to be there, but he's there and it just works. I think he was there to
you
show
know who was
Grogu
cool?
kindness. You know that there's kind people out there worth
Yeah, yeah,
holding
yeah.
down. I think that's what that was for.
Another character development moment.
We'll never
Like
see that guy again.
never. He's gone. He's in quadrant 3 now. He's gone.
Yeah, man, he's on some star somewhere, like just living his
Forever.
life,
Like it's
hoping
forever.
hoping the Shinobi dude doesn't come back.
Yo. I did think though, Lil Jabba was cool. If it, what was cool about him? The picture they showed him floating as a Lord Jabba, and then when he actually get to see him as like he was like big and shit, I was like, this shit is funny.
Nah,
Like
so you
it's
know what
stupid.
was in my head like every time he was on the scene because his name is Rada. What's that show? Is it Chowder? Where the dude goes Rada, 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 Rada.
Yeah, that's my guy. I
Yeah, I
love
like
that
him
show.
too. And so I just kept thinking of that when I seen him. I was like Rada, Rada, Rada.
But you know what? There was some cool scenes. With him and the Mandalorian in the cage versus the monsters. That was a pretty good one. I like that. I like that one. When the Mandalorian quit, not quit, when he how you say that? He basically forfeited the fight to free Baby Jabba. And then he was like,
Oh
okay, he's
yeah, when
free.
they were all in the when they were
Yeah.
in the
And
Thor
he was like, he's
Ragnarok
free.
scene.
He's free to die. and then he
No,
burned all the
that
monsters.
was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool scene. I'm not gonna lie, but like, they just had
Yeah,
so
I thought that
many
was a cool.
creatures, bro. And then like all the white creatures just looked like they were the same skin texture, but not the same creature. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Because like the snake looks like the white dude, the white thing that they were fighting in there and all that stuff. And I think there was another one at like a bar fight scene or some shit like that.
Like
Like,
different variations of them. But I think
yeah.
that's you know what think about it though. Star Wars and the different species that would say that would just be like the different
No,
species
it
and
makes
different
sense.
variations.
Cause like think about it, Ahsoka's not the only one we see with those like things in the back of her head. Like there's other
Right.
aliens that
Exactly.
have that. So I like that Star Wars has
Yeah.
like human people that like have like regular fucking button downs, like me and you would.
Right. Right. Because I feel like if we go on vacation in Star Wars and we see a human, we like, oh, there's another human. We
Like
lit.
their
Like we
clothes is
see black
pretty
people
like
somewhere.
their whole thing is like pretty regular human for like some humans that weren't born on Earth or anything like that.
You know what was fucked up though for them when those monsters got out? I was thinking the whole time. I was like, damn, the monsters is in New York City right now, just tearing up the fucking city. It looked like that's what it was. Like it looked like it was a scene like on like in Ninja Turtles or some
They
shit, like
cleaned them
monsters
up
loose
though.
and just fucking. I'm like, yo, wow, that's crazy. All the humans dying and so easy. That's
I do
fucked
want to
up.
give them props though, because I feel like the soundtrack was really good. Like all the music they were playing throughout this was like you feel it. Like it gave you the right feel for the scenes you were seeing.
Yeah,
Especially
I
when
have
they
no
were
complaints.
especially when they were twisting in the Mandalorian theme into the like the different soundtracks that they had. Boom doom doom
Yeah,
doom
that was
doom
pretty dope. I was hearing that
doom
too. Yeah,
doom
yeah, that was fire.
doom doom doom
Yeah,
doom doom doom. Yeah, we're probably never gonna hear
that
that
was pretty
again
dope.
on a fresh new episode. We're probably never gonna hear that again.
See, that was the movie. That was part of the movie feel they gave us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, different sounds and nice variations of the intro and shit like that. That's like the movie. That's what you do in the movie.
Yeah,
You
they
know what I
did a
mean?
really
Everything
good
else is
job
what you
with the
do in the show.
sounds with the soundtrack that they chose and composed for this. Is
But
it rating time?
yeah, man. Yeah, man. You want to go ahead? You got the honors. You said yours pretty low. I want to hear yours before I say mine.
6.6.
Oh, wow. That's pretty. You know what? Yours is usually lower than mine. Yours is usually. I'm giving this a shit a 6.
Oh,
Yes.
I felt like it was like just slightly better. I was gonna go 6.5, and I was like, it's just slightly better. Like it's like it's good, but it's like because and I'm also taking it in the perspective of like if you like the Mandalorian and Grogu, you're gonna enjoy this.
Give me guy. I'm rolling dice back. Give me six
Nah,
point
nah, nah,
three.
nah. It's okay, sir. You can stay with your 6. But
I
like
like the
if
show. No,
you
I like the. You right though. I like the show, and I gotta give props. I did like the movie. I said I liked the movie more than I was gonna give
if
it.
you're a
So I
stiffler,
can technically hire it a little
if you're one of those stiflers that like Star Wars, but like you're really like, oh, it's gotta be old school, like you
bit. I'm
might
not
not
gonna lie,
care for
man.
this. You might not care for this, honestly. And if you don't watch Star Wars or The Mandalorian and Grogu, you're probably gonna be like, oh, that was alright. But you're never gonna be like, hey, yo, dog, we gotta go watch The Mandalorian and Grogu. That shit was so
Spin
hot.
that
Like,
back. Spin that
yeah,
back.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
not gonna say spin that back. You're not gonna
So
spin it back.
I think the movie was
Yeah.
enjoyable. It did what it's supposed to do. Like it's equivalent to like what Super Mario Galaxy 2 just did. What Super Mario Galaxy just did. Like it wasn't
Like how
great,
it
but
just
it did what
continued
it
the
was supposed
story
to
and
do.
ran through it, right? Like it was like a filler like episode in what they
It
did,
was
like in
good.
the
It
grand
wasn't
scheme.
great. It just does what it's supposed to do. It like fulfills the task for the audience that you're like trying to fulfill for.
Yeah, it gives you the Mandalorian and it gives you Grogu
Yeah, and they
and
do
it
a
gives
good
you
job of capturing the relationship that the Mandalorian and Grogu have throughout the series. It's
yeah,
not the
and
best
they
story
honestly,
that you gave them, but like if it's enough.
man, I think I'm gonna mimic what you said earlier. The focus, the low key focus was really the character development in Grogu. I can see that being like what we were supposed to get from that. You know what I'm saying? Even though I think like, you know, the ending could have been a little bit different for him. But hey, you know what I'm saying? We're on to the next adventure, I'm guessing.
Unfortunately, I do feel like we're not getting more Mandalorian and Grogu. So it is a little disappointing where they left it because I feel like I didn't really get a closed book for these characters, or at least their story together. I feel like that wasn't like wrapped up. It's just out there. Um, so that's something that I don't like about the movie is that like it kind of makes me want more Mandalorian and Grogu. But one, I
Yeah.
don't think we get it, and two, even if we did get it, I think we're at the point where like you can only kind of like start stagnating or you start sloping downwards.
Do you think we see Mandalorian and Grogu in shows like Ahsoka and other future projects that they have
If
coming
they
out?
decide to keep crossing over characters, I can see that being ways that they still include the characters in the meantime before somebody like Grogu or maybe even Mando gets a bigger role somewhere else. Um, but Star Wars is like I said so big that you never need to include them again, and like it's reasonable. It's reasonable.
Niggas just flew off into fucking space. They going, bro.
But
He's
I would
going.
definitely enjoy, and I definitely would expect them to use Grogu at some point. I feel like he's too big of a cash cow right now for them to just walk away and not be like, hey, 10
Yeah.
years from now, pull him back and be like, yo, look, it's Grogu just older and he's whooping ass now. Like, think about it.
He
He would
reminds me
sell.
of he is what Groot is this Marvel.
I'll say this. I feel like one of the issues with some things is they don't know how to move away from their main character. One of the things being is Dragon Ball Z. I feel like they suffer in a sense sometimes because they cannot escape Goku being the man. But as long as Goku's the man, you already know nobody's fucking winning. Like,
The show
there's
is over,
almost
right?
no
You already know.
adversity. They've plot armored him so much that you just gotta know it's coming. You just like are there to see how it goes down this time. But
Nah, fact. Yeah,
Star
nah.
Wars is
Hey,
kind of stuck in a vortex where like you have to connect everything back to the Skywalkers, and I feel like they suffer because they have a hard time doing things that aren't connected to the Skywalkers. Things that aren't connected to them normally suffer. But them being stuck with the Skywalkers doesn't let you expand and tell the freshest stories that they could be telling.
right, yeah. I don't know why people are so stuck on these people. Like, I love Luke too, but like, goddamn.
Well, maybe it's because there's so many like gaps in the story of like these characters. Like think about it. They show Luke at different stages and there's so many gaps. You see Leia at different stages and there's gaps to the story. This is not like a Harry Potter, for instance, where you see the year by year transition of Harry Potter in the school.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Then he get a he had a show, right?
And there's so many
Skywalker.
cool characters connected to the Skywalker story. Like look what you just said. Maul is phenomenal. Connected to the Skywalker saga
Yeah,
in some way.
yeah. Did they do a Skywalker show? No, right? I think
What's
that
one?
was they were supposed to.
Think about this: Mandalorian and Grogu met Skywalker. Ahsoka knows Anakin, has met Luke. Let me think. What else is out
Kenobi.
there? Obi-Wan Kenobi, the guy who literally
Met
takes in
Skywalker.
Luke. Like all these shows are still forced to be connected to the Skywalkers, and he was taking
Yeah,
care of Leia in the process.
yeah. And anything else, like you said, outside of that, yeah, generally
Has
suffers, man.
struggled
Anything.
because anything that's not connected to them normally requires characters that you don't know anything about. And there's so many characters that you think are cool already that when you're not getting those characters, you're like, like think about it, the acolytes only got some buzz because that dude Darth Plagueis was seen in the cave looking like a creep, looking like the dude who stands behind the tree and he's like,
That was fire, though. That was dope.
yeah, and it
That was
was
dope.
dope. But that's like the coolest thing they've done that's outside of the Skywalker saga.
Yeah, and then they didn't even let the acolyte ride. You know what I mean?
Um,
Ride. So
because Rogue One, think about that. That connects to the Skywalker saga. Even that.
I like Rogue One. I like that.
I can't think
I
of
like
much
it.
that does not connect to the Skywalker saga in any like way, shape, or form.
I mean, any one of the Rens does because she's ends up being a Skywalker.
Like I guess you can even say the acolyte because you know like Yoda pops up at the end and blah blah. But that's like way too many branches out to like they have no connection to the actual like Skywalker family or anybody who knows
Right.
the
Yeah.
Skywalkers as of right now.
I wish they would have continued that story, man. I wanted to see that
I was
story with the
very interested
sister.
to see where that went. And like the season was not the best. There was some cool stuff and some really good fights, but I was definitely interested to see where that went. So a little unfortunate that it got burnt.
Yeah, boo to those who stopped that. Who I don't know, whatever. But yeah, man. So what? I'm officially raising mine also 6.2. I'm gonna keep mine 6.2. You gonna keep yours at 6.6? You said 6.5. You said what was it?
6.6. 6.6. I'll give it.
6.6.
Yeah,
All
for
right,
the
man. Well,
Mandalorian
listen,
and
there we
for the
go.
Mandalorian fans, I'll give it the 6.6.
Listen, if you're a Star Wars fans, like Sink said earlier, go see the movie, check it out, enjoy it. Stop being so critical. Everything can't be about the Skywalkers. You know what I
Well,
mean? Like, listen,
being
we got
critical
this
sells,
big
man.
ass.
Controversy sells.
Right, man. They gotta get their money. Star Wars can make their money anyway. You know what I mean? It's only what matter. You know what I mean? It don't matter how critical or what y'all say anyway. They don't make their money.
I hear
It's
they got
fucking
a
Star
lot of
Wars.
projects in the work too.
Yeah, they do. They do. Yeah. I saw that too, actually. And I'm gonna just shout out this. I'm gonna shout out the writers on Maul once again because I feel like y'all should have wrote this, the Mandalorian Grogu, because it would have been crazy. But whoever's writing over there on Star Wars, fuck it, keep doing your thing, man. This wasn't such a bad movie, but you know what I'm trying to say, it could have been better.
I don't
You know what I mean?
like
But
certain movies get rated low, and that's the beautiful thing about stuff like this. But like they still they're not bad just because they're rated low.
it
They're
wasn't a bad movie. It wasn't a bad
yeah.
movie.
Sometimes just because a movie's not on the level of Inception doesn't mean it's bad.
And and I feel like that's where the Star Wars fans be going. Some of the Star Wars fans be going wrong. They be projecting like it's bad. Just because they feel like, oh, it's low on their Star Wars list.
I,
Like,
I
nigga,
think
that
the
doesn't mean
safe
it's a
space to
bad movie.
say a movie is pretty like crappy or not worth your time is when they become like fives and below. Like
I
like the
can
store when they become like the
I
store,
can agree.
you know.
And we don't really give too many. I
Yeah,
mean, six. Honestly,
I
this
think
this,
I was
this
given
is
like a
probably like
four
the
and a half somewhere, but like I don't remember what it was, but I think I remember something really fucking low.
we probably
Madam Web is pretty
that,
low. I
yeah,
know
I'm about to say
that.
that Spider Girl movie. Yeah, I was about to say, Man on Web. Yeah, that shit.
I was looking back at it the other
Yeah.
day. Ironheart I rated kind of higher than I thought I did, but you
We
know.
gotta change. We gotta edit that shit. I gotta look back. If it's
Nah.
anything
It's
more
all
than a
right.
four.
I'm pretty sure I gave it a boost because Mephisto showed up.
Anyway, that was the Mandalorian Grogu. Y'all, like I said, go check it out. This is non-expert opinion. We are your non-experts. Drop those comments, likes, and shares, please. Also, I want to say that we never say follow us on IG, Twitter, and other social
Yeah,
sites. We're
tickety
everywhere. Y'all
tockety, the
follow us. We
clock
love to
app,
see that.
you
You know what I mean?
know.
Especially IG. We be and TikTok. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. We be popping over there. You know what I'm saying? Comment over there
Come
too.
say
We
hi.
answering everything. We want to talk to the other non-experts everywhere. Shit. So, Sink, you got another word?
Once again, the floor is now open for discussion. Let's talk about it. If you've seen The Mandalorian and Grogu, share your non-expert opinion, like MoeBlak said, man.
We want to hear it. Until next time, folks. We out of here.
N.E.O.